All right, guys, another Photopea assignment you're going to do is to make an abstract out of a picture that is not abstract to begin with. To do this, you're going to come to our home page, and then there is a click here for supporting files link. You've got 3 to choose from. You can pick the landscape, Shrek, or the track picture. It really does not matter which one you pick because the steps are going to be the same no matter what. I haven't tried a Shrek before, so I'm going to download that one. So I hit download. It comes into my downloads folder. Okay, now in Photopea, I'm going to do open from computer, and I'm going to find that Shrek file I just got. I tell it to open, and there's my Shrek picture. Now, since we're going to make this pretty much completely unrecognizable, first thing we're going to do is duplicate the image in the image menu. So we come up here to image, and we choose duplicate, which is kind of down near the bottom. And that makes a whole new file appear. So we brought it in as a JPEG. Now it's up here as a PSD, which is fine. It's going to work for what we want. Now on here, we've got the background layer. We need to make sure your layers are open. And then we're going to come up here to image size, which is under image. So image size. And then we're going to change this to %, and instead of 100, we're going to go to 50% here. Or something close. Make sure that this resample box is checkmarked and hit OK. All right, so now I'm going to zoom that in. It's too small for me to actually work with. I don't really care that it's blurry right now because it's not going to be recognizable anyway. Then I need it to be a little bigger, so I'm going to go View, Fit the Area. And it blows it up a little bit for me. It's a little too much for me, so I'm going to screen that in a little. All right, so now I'm going to click back on my background layer again. Make sure this layer is selected. And then you're going to right-click. And remember, to right-click on an iPad, it's 2 fingers. And then you can choose Convert to Smart Object. Right, so we convert it. And then we're going to pixelate it first. So we're going to come up to Filter. And then we're going to choose Pixelate here, and we're going to choose the one that says Mezzotint. Okay, this gives you different options. So right now we have fine dots. You've got other ones like medium dots, grainy, coarse, and you can kind of see it's just changing things around as you go. Short lines, medium, and long. And then you've got strokes, which are short, medium, and long. I'm going to start with long strokes. You'll be able to change this again later, so no big deal, but I'm going long strokes to start. Okay, so you can still kind of see the Shrek here in the middle. You can kind of see that there's some blue sky, some white sky. There's some more Shrek down here in the corner. But you also see the smart filters and the mezzotint over here. Next thing we're going to do is go back up to filter. And we're going to choose blur this time. And under blur, we want the one that says radial blur because we're going to make this into spin art. So I choose radial blur. And I'm going to move my menu off so I can kind of watch what happens. So you can already see it's kind of started to spin. I can see Shrek a little better. We're going to change this amount. You can do that with the slider and watch it spin to see how tight it'll go. I don't want them completely unrecognizable yet. I'm going to go 20. You can go anywhere up to 100. All right, so I went to 20, and then I'm going to switch my mode from spin to zoom, and that makes it look like a starburst. This is what we're going for. Now, once you go to zoom, if you want to see this better, you can always play with this a little more. I kind of like how it's getting a little darker up there. But I want to see where it goes everywhere. So moving it around. I think I'm going to go with like a 26. Okay. Do whatever you want to yours. Just make sure that you change your amount and you change your zoom here. We're not going to touch the X or Y. When you're done, hit OK. And you can see it adds another layer right here. So now I've got a mezzotint layer and a radial blur layer. Okay. Then we're going to go up to filter again. This time, we're going to choose Distort from the menu, and then we're going to choose Twirl. You can kind of see it already started to wave around a little bit. Right now, I'm at a 90 for the angle. And we're going to play with that angle number just like we did before. You can do something like a really tight angle, which goes counterclockwise, and a regular angle, which goes clockwise. I don't think I want it quite that much, so I'm going to go like 198. Again, yours does not have to look like mine. I would prefer it not look like mine. Just play with it until you get whatever you like in this center area, and then click OK. Now we're going to go back to our layers right here, and we're going to click on the, double click on the mezzotint. That should bring our mezzotint back up here. We're going to play with that again. So mine was on long strokes. I'm going to change it to something else. And what it does is change your colors a little bit based on what you choose for the type. It also changes how pixelated it is. So I'm going to look at each one. And I think the one that I liked the most was either short strokes or dots. And I think I'm going to go short strokes. Whichever one you pick is fine. Just pick one of them, hit OK, and make sure your picture looks kind of swirly to start. Okay, next step. We're going to click on this top layer, the background layer again. So make sure you're not clicked on any of those, just the background. And now you're going to have to create a new layer that has all these filters with it. Now the way to do that is you're going to click and hold on the background. And you're going to drag it down to the icon down here for new layer. And when I drop that on new layer, it creates a whole copy, including all of the filters with it. All right, you can't just right click and tell it to create a new layer because that doesn't take all the filters. It's got to be where you hold it down and you drag and drop it on the new layer. Now on this copy, which is my top one, we're going to go back up to filter. Oops, sorry, no, we're going to choose twirl. And my twirl was at 198. I'm actually going to make that go the opposite direction now. So if you had a positive number before, this time go negative. If you had a negative number before, this time go positive. And I've got my layer down on here. I can only see this one because my original is a background. It doesn't show up yet, and that's normal. Now, above layer 1, we're going to choose this word that says normal. Normal means what it actually looks like, but when we choose some of these other ones, it starts to blend both my layer 1 and my background together. So the ones we want to look at are darken, and that takes all the darkest pixels from each of these two layers, and since they swirl different directions, you can see you start to get these little veins. Now I'm going to try darker color. I don't really like that one. Now I'm going to choose lighten, and it picks the lightest colors from each of the layers. It looks definitely more sunbursty. And then the one I tend to like the most is pin light, because it gives me light and dark for both of them. So there's my picture. File, save as PSD, goes to my downloads. I'm on a laptop. Yours will go there on your iPad, but you're going to want to name it something like Shrek. I'm going to name it Shrek 1. And then you're also going to want to go File, Export as PNG. I don't want to leave it the same name. I won't be able to tell them apart. So I'm going to name this Shrek 2 and hit save. That new one, the PNG file, is the one that you're going to turn into Canvas, showing us that you created something that does not look like mine based on one of those 3 pictures.